Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we have a lot to go over. We know that the world is changing. We know that we are basically at the forefront of it by investing into utility projects as well. And I feel as though at this point in time, it's really kind of not worth the time or even effort to really kind of address like, hey, guess what? If you're not paying attention, you're missing out, because I'm pretty sure that all of you watching this channel are pretty much aware of what's going on, right? For the most part, especially if you have been watching the recent content in the last couple months or even years. So as we really look at that, right? I do hope everybody's having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. Things are definitely looking different around blockchain and DLT. There was an article recently posted by beaninCrypto.com, and this goes back to March actually, where we have, this is why DLT or distributed ledger technology is a must for future success. When we have blockchain and DLT reshape finance, enhancing DeFi and improving payment efficiency, DLT's role extends to tackling climate change by tracking carbon emissions accurately. And then also future convergence of DeFi and traditional finance will benefit both sectors significantly. And yes, as we do look at what's happening right now, tokenization is one of the biggest things. And in fact, they actually are quoting the president of Hedera here around tokenization within cross-border payments. And we have blockchain technology sets out to enable individual collaboration and allow societies to play a part in determining the future of technological innovation. DLT, for instance, has created new trust layers that enable individuals, enterprises, and governments to generate collective social impact without the risk of bad actors acquiring influence. And, as we are looking at what's happening, there's major game changers around DLT, as they even do outline here within trading or even clearing workflows, but also just traditional business workflows as well. Automated workflows, it's a huge thing now. You have ServiceNow, which services 80% of the Fortune 500, already tapped in on, digital workflows, automating workflows. So these things are starting to change in a very, very rapid pace, especially with new technology like AI. Things are only going to speed up more and more. So as we do kind of, try to be very conservative on the time frame and say, hey, let's push this a little bit more. Let's say, maybe it takes 10 years. I don't think that's going to. I think that it gets done in half or even a quarter of that. So as we really look at what's going on, through these new technologies and through things like tokenization, and even with like AI, there's going to be a time in this market where we're going to start to see a major shift happen. And I do think that the last major thing that we're really kind of looking at before things really kind of go into overdrive is just regulations. Now, outside of this, January 15th of this year, there was a report that got put out by the World Economic Forum, and is blockchain is in from the cold and stablecoins are set to change the financial system forever. And it's interesting that, these are the types of articles that we are getting, months before big announcements, like for an example, Ripple stablecoin. And, we know that happened back in April. This was January, so not too far off. You can't afford to not be a part of this Discord. You need to join the free Discord down in the description below, as well as in the comments below right now, to get ahead of the rest of the market with 24/7, 365 access to information around crypto, including insights, trades, altcoin gems, you name it. You need to be a part of this Discord. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to join today. And we have stablecoins are set to change the financial system forever. And they are. And I also believe that Ripple is going to change finance forever as well through, their initiatives. And I also think that as we really look at Ripple, guys, it's so interesting when you look at the time frames on some of these announcements, and then you really kind of connect the dots with what Ripple is trying to do. And it seems as though like a lot of these announcements are followed with Ripple announcing something very similar to it, weeks or even months away from that announcement. So it's very interesting. Maybe I'm just reading more into it, but regardless, it is very interesting. But we have, after a turbulent 2022, blockchain and stablecoins are coming back into the limelight, this time with the involvement of major financial institutions. This marks a step change in the world of finance and is set to fundamentally alter how we exchange value. The coming change could be just as disruptive as the emergence of the internet. And yes, It will be, right? Like, as we look at all of these big players, like, look at this. This growing embrace of blockchain is reflected in the strong interest among traditional financial firms. In just the last few months, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Standard Chartered, HSBC, Goldman Sachs, and other major financial institutions have all announced projects that deepen their involvement with blockchain. Bank of America predicts blockchain infrastructure may reshape how value is exchanged and stored, not just in finance, but in every industry. And yeah, like, as we really look at what's going on, there's a major embrace coming from the institutions, right? But what's even crazier about all of this is just how significant these innovations will be. Like, we're not even just talking about money. We're not talking about how, big the players are that are adopting this. We're talking about the impact that this technology is going to have on the entire world, right? Like, even here we have, at its core, blockchain networks provide a new operating system infrastructure layer for the internet that is ideal for handling applications where trust in data and transaction integrity are crucial. This infrastructure is poised to eat the world of money, literally telling you, like, hey, like, as we really look at the entire world of money, like, this infrastructure that blockchain is enabling is going to eat up that amount of money. Like, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars will be moving through these networks, through this infrastructure. We have, just as other forms of software devoured almost every analog industry a generation ago by making them faster, cheaper, and easier to consume while reducing barriers to entry. Stablecoins, blockchain native versions of fiat currencies like the US dollar, are the critical element that underpin this new internet financial system. So yeah, I mean, like, as we really look at this, it is one of the biggest changes in history. Like, we're talking about, like, if we're addressing technology and the technological advancements that have happened in the previous generations and decades, right? We look at the internet and everyone's like, yeah, the internet's massive. It was huge. It was a massive success. But remember, the internet was not a huge success initially. It took some time. But once it had that mainstream use case, which the internet, the mainstream, use case was social media. From there, it just skyrocketed. In my opinion, I believe stablecoins are pretty much social media to blockchain. I think that this is what's going to bring in all of the big players. And then from there, we're going to start to see other endeavors happen, like tokenization. And you could argue that stablecoins and ETFs are kind of like that social media trend around the internet. Regardless, this is where I really kind of look at, crypto heading, where, we do start with something small like stablecoins or ETFs, and then all of a sudden it blossoms into this massive industry. But even over here, how blockchain will revolutionize the financial system. This was May 17th of 2022, and this got posted by Fidelity International. It is like a sub company under Fidelity. But regardless, we have another year, another burst of extreme crypto volatility, but the blockchain technology behind Bitcoin, stablecoins, and other digital assets continues to grow in importance. And, this fully just breaks down the revolution happening around DLT. We specifically look at what's going on behind closed doors, what's going on behind the full infrastructure layer. And ultimately, as we do look at that, right, like, every single major player wants to tap into the infrastructure side of this because they know how valuable it is to be early in something like this. And they also realized how just massive this technology will be eventually. Now, outside of this, where does Ripple stand in all of this? Well, big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. We have confidential institutional investor presentation citing Ripple as B2B enterprise services and infrastructure. We are not invested in speculative coins that traders can trade. We are invested in real companies making real products. Major key. Now, I did include this in a recent video, but I'm including it in this one because we're going to expand on top of this. But check this out.
It's a very well-developed ecosystem at this point. There are literally thousands of real companies with real teams building real applications on this innovation and technology. And that's what we focus on. We're not investing in speculative, tradable pairs, tokens that traders can trade. We're investing in real teams using this technology to build real products and services and solutions.
So you guys have it. Again, over here, we have the full breakdown. So Ripple will be the settlement infrastructure of the new financial system. The proof is there. And here we have on the bottom, built on Ripple, And this is with the United States Federal Reserve settlement infrastructure. Then you have the message format and routing. And this is where you have the clearinghouse, ACH, and even Swift. Network rules, Swift. You also have ACH there. You also have the Electronic Payments Association. And then you also have the same exact group, including, of course, the Fed for standards and governance. And then banks. This could be Bank of America. It could be Citi. It could be anyone, right? And then you also have those applications, which is like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. But on the bottom, you have that, settlement infrastructure. And this is how this all works, right? That settlement infrastructure is going to be the thing that all of these applications that people are so used to, utilizing, like Venmo or Cash App, you'll see an update. That's all it will be, right? It will be a nice little update that you just take on your phone, on, the Google Play Store or on iOS, right? You take that update and then all of a sudden, you don't really notice a big difference, but all of a sudden things are settling in instant timeframes at a very low cost. And you're just like, wow, this is a crazy update. But they don't realize that the infrastructure layer, which is hidden, right? They don't even know about it. It's settling out on DLT. That's mass adoption. That's what it looks like. Now, also over here, we have defining a cross-border settlement scheme. I'm going to open this up in a new tab and zoom in on it. So here we have the participating banks, the scheme components, which is, support functions, and then you have the governance, planning, and roles, core scheme functions, products and services, operations, technology, and data management, and then you have the infrastructure, and that's where you have Ripple DLT, and then also platform integration. On the right side, you have Visa and MasterCard being named. In the same way, Visa and MasterCard operate distributed networks for their participating banks, enforcing a common set of roles on them under their respective payment schemes. And this is just addressing the full DLT network and how this would essentially work, and also the full-on Ripple integration. Now, on the last slide there, we have what are B2B payments. This is B2B payments ecosystem can be understood at different levels from its most restricted to its broadest sense. And this is where you have all of those infrastructure names, where you have MasterCard, Visa, which again, going back to that last image, right? I'll even just open this over here. We have Visa and MasterCard being named. Here we have the infrastructure layers. You still have Ripple. And yes, Swift is there, but remember, Swift is not offering settlement. But this is the integration of payments in the whole management stack, management of payments workflows and operations, payment enablers, payment processing itself. The infrastructure is the crucial step. That's the major thing. And then also over here we have mapping of select tech players in B2B payments, and under blockchain, you have the big players, but of course, Ripple is being named as one of them. Now, also over here, we have, big shout to XRP Drops for this, Ripple Payments and Ripple software technology is designed as the fundamental, the settlement infrastructure of the new financial system, even one level lower than the central banks domestically. Applications execute transactions, PayPal, Stripe, could be Venmo, Cash App, you name it. Banks, custody. Interbank infrastructure, role sets, regulatory compliance, messaging standards, Swift codes, ACH payment messages, and Visa messages. Settlement infrastructure, central banks domestically. Settlement infrastructure, Ripple. And check this out.
So at the very top of the payment stack, we have application layers like PayPal, Stripe, Square, applications, technologies that interface with consumers and businesses looking to execute a transaction. Below that, we have banks, the institutions that custody the assets themselves. Moving below that, we start to look at the core interbank infrastructure, rule sets around business continuity, safety and soundness, regulatory compliance. Below that, we have messaging standards, so we can think about Swift codes, ACH payment messages, Visa messages. And finally, below that, we have a settlement infrastructure, which is operated primarily by the central banks domestically and correspondent banks internationally. So where Ripple fits today in the existing payment stack is at the bottom. So
there you guys have it. And again, this is what that image would look like. I know it's a little bit, let me zoom out. So this is what it looks like. Applications, banks, interbank infrastructure, messaging standards. You also have those central banks, but then on the bottom, you have Ripple as the settlement infrastructure. And you know what's crazy about this is that there has been a lot of low IQ discussions in the space, talking about how Swift is going to replace XRP, Swift is going to replace Ripple, Ripple's, competing with Swift, Ripple is trying to kill Swift. This has shown you how easy it is for Swift to tap into Ripple and pretty much utilize the technology in a very efficient manner. And it would be beneficial for them, right? They could offer, Ripple Tech to these banks, charge a fee, and call it a day. I mean, it makes sense. They don't have to compete with each other. They could benefit each other in a very large way. How does it benefit Ripple? Well, Ripple is going after their 11,000 plus customers anyways, but in all one go, Ripple could essentially be tapped in to all of those 11,000 plus clients that Swift does have. So it's beneficial in a very quick way for Ripple to tap into those 11,000 names by simply having Swift utilizing the tech. It's equally as beneficial for Swift to utilize Ripple Tech because it makes sure that they are, operating, in this new world of finance in a very efficient way. Because remember, Swift doesn't offer a settlement mechanism. They are messaging. They don't offer the settlement and clearing. Now, also, outside of that, remember the BIS and Ripple, right? Flip the Chain back in October posted this. It's a one of three. We have BIS and Ripple working together on the blueprint for the future monetary system. BIS and Ripple both talking about tokenization in the new monetary system on different podiums. Ripple also added in the task force on BIS website. Watch the complete thread. And here we have it. I'm going to actually go and open this up in a thread so that we can really kind of look at this very easily. And here we have from Pat Thelen, VP of Strategic Partnerships at Ripple. Check it out.
We're tracking and probably is as exciting as anything is, tokenization of real world assets. If you apply, the technology to some of these industries that have been around forever that are fraught with manual processes and illiquidity and latency, there are some real opportunities to, leverage the technology. And I think what's kind of fun to watch is if you think about the real estate or debt capital markets or commodities or even trade finance. I mean, these are spaces where institutions are leaning in because there's so much cost to be taken out of the equation. We're tracking.
Now, if we go down here, this is from the BIS, and this is the BIS also talking about tokenization as part of the future monetary system. Check it out.
Lies ahead in the evolution of the monetary system. What is the next big development? This year's annual economic report argues that the monetary system could be on the cusp of another major leap. The watchword is tokenization. Tokenization is more than just the digital representation of money and assets. Tokens integrate the records of an asset, normally found in a traditional database, with the rules and logic governing transfers. By doing so, tokenization introduces two important capabilities. First, enables the contingent performance of actions. And second, it enables composability where multiple actions can be bundled together into one executable package.
Now, on top of that, yes, we do know that Ripple is on the CPMI. This is the Cross-Border Payments Interoperability and Extension Task Force composition, which of course you all know about. But then also over here, we have the post back in June of 2023, tokenization can be a major leap for the monetary system, but current isolated initiatives have a better chance to flourish if they rely on the foundation of trust that central bank money provides. AKA, listen, if you are providing tokenization and you're working with central banks, you are going to be very successful. And that's why I'm betting big on, Ripple and XRP, because Ripple is close-knit to these major players, especially around the central banking system. They're already there. They're already tapped in. In my opinion, it's pretty much a sure, safe bet when it comes to Ripple and XRP because they're already working with the BIS. They're already tapped in on these endeavors. Now, last but not least, I do want to share with you guys this video from June of 2023. Again, really kind of just addressing the blueprint for the future monetary system, improving the old, enabling the new. And this got posted by 801_XRP. And we have, this speaks about a network or networks, unified ledger, tokenization, CBDC platform, a level playing field, no one ledger will rule them all. Check out the diagram, look at the example they use for potential disintermediation. Now, not saying they're speaking about the XRP ledger, but the shoe fits, the description is all I'm saying, and check it out.
Tokenization is more than just a digital representation of money and assets. It involves digital representation on a programmable platform, which means that tokens can incorporate the rules and logic governing transfers, as well as the information about the asset itself. Now, currently, money and other claims reside in separate databases that are connected through third-party messaging systems, meaning that transactions need to be reconciled separately before being settled with finality. Tokenization makes all this one seamless operation. Tokenization is well suited to resolve incentive and information problems. Think of an example where a buyer would like to pay when the goods are delivered, while the seller would like to deliver the goods when the buyer pays. Tokenization can solve this problem by executing both transactions at the same time. Two real-world applications discussed in the chapter are resolving foreign exchange settlement risk and unlocking supply chain finance. A unified ledger with CBDCs can make full use of the ability of central bank money to knit together diverse elements of the financial system. In this sense, the full potential of tokenization can be harnessed by having central bank money reside on the same venue as other tokenized claims.
Now, over here, we also have the full breakdown of it, streamlining security settlement through a unified ledger. And here we have a stylized example of the security settlement process and the unified ledger, where you have the full breakdown of it. And it looks very similar to, things that we've broken down in the past when it comes to XRP and the XRPL. But also it pertains back to QNT, which, hey, if it's QNT, that means that all DLTs will be tapped in. Regardless of how this looks, regardless of how we really kind of, twist this in our favor, we know that this is happening regardless of if it's all on XRP. We know that XRP will grab a significant portion of this. We already know that Ripple is at the forefront of this as well. We already know that Ripple has been working with these major players for so long, in my opinion. Okay, and even going off of the information that we know, at this point in time, I'm pretty much at that stage where I'm just like, this is 100% proof that Ripple and XRP will play a vital role in this new financial system. Now, will they be the new financial system? No, but I do think that they will have a very large shoe to fill when it comes to this new financial system that they're already telling us about. It's already here. It's already beginning. The major players are already tapped in. They're already telling you that here as well, as we do look at all of these major giants that are already tapping in. And this is just the start, right? Like, this is just the beginning. It's only going to grow from here. And as I've said in the past, right, like we only have one more step in this process, and that's just regulations. Then the game really begins. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the video description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.